All right. Yeah, what's going on, everybody? It's Childish. We're back at it again with the next critical thinking video. Yeah, buddy. Okay, so if you guys are new to the channel, welcome to the channel. Before Educate and Dominate was the critical thinking series, which I incorporated in my YouTube channel once a week, just talking about different theories and thoughts, doing a little theory crafting based on my knowledge and experience in the game, as well as some of the people that I have used as a mentor to myself, and so on and so forth. So I want to put this video out there. We're going to coin this one Game Changers and Devilmons. Game Changers and Devilmons. So as you guys might have guessed, with the Devilmons out there being one of the most rare commodities that we can get in the game, uh, it is extremely valuable. So you have to make every effort to put it in units, invest in the units that's going to be worthwhile at the end. So we're going to be geared towards the mid to late game as far as making the recommendations on here. Again, disclaimer: these are my recommendations based on my experiences on these units within the game so far up to this day. So feel free to share your comments down below on what you think might change. I'm going to be talking about basically my top picks, and then I'll put some ones to kind of consider along the way. But again, when we're talking about this, I want to talk about the two true game changers. Okay, so before I get into this, I wanted to give you guys a little story time. With the Childish Plays. I recently made an epic fail of the week video showcasing Mittens from Clan Absolute Void. He was the one that kind of inspired me to make this video. So we were sitting there rating within our group, and as if people have seen my R5 team, you guys know that I use a combination of I use a branding unit. I've gone back and forth between Stella and Helia, but I recently chose to do Stella because I had some extra fodder on her, and then I had some extra Devilmons that I wanted to invest in here. I put enough Devilmons to invest to get her second skill max, but I did not second and third skill max, but I did not invest in the first skill, right? And so the thing of it is, for me, I realized early on that Devilmons were so rare that I always wanted to save them, because I always had that thought that I should save them for that Nat 5 that I'm gonna get, because it's just destined, right? You're always gonna get a Nat 5. But at the end of the day, Mittens brought me to my head, reminded me that it's not about sometimes what you want to hear, but what you need to hear. And Devilmons are extremely important in this game. But if you're currently sacrificing the use of Devilmons on your top tier units that you use every single day, you are losing out on precious, present value, in the hopes of possibly getting a unit and possibly having some future value out of it. So I really thought about that. I sat there overnight thinking about that. I'm sitting here rating with people all over, the world, with regards to R5. And it's not like it's always 100% consistency, right? We do different types of things, and we always quote unquote call it RNG, when in all reality, maybe that RNG is not as RNG as we think it is if you actually take the time to invest, because sometimes, depending on the unit or whatnot, it can improve it greatly. So I'm going to go ahead and talk about that. Let's see here. So we're gonna break this down in three sections. It's gonna be water, wind, and fire, and then depending on what the people say in the comment section down below, if they really like this series, then I'll probably do a combination one for light and dark units. Okay, so again, we can make an argument for so many units, and I don't want to make no top 10 video, this and that. I'm gonna talk about in my eyes, the true game changers of this particular game, and my reason for devil minding them, so to speak. Okay, so without a question, my first pick is going to be, if I can click on it, boom, there we go, Galleon. Okay, Galleon. So if you guys haven't had the opportunity, maybe you're new to the game or whatnot, Galleon is by far one of the greatest game-changing units that we have out there today. Before Galleon's time, we had a combination of units that we bring into the PvE or PvP setting to apply an attack buff and to provide a defense break on the particular unit. So not only can this guy do a single target lead, but of course his bread and butter, it has the ability to do both at the same time. Okay, a lot of people use the Megan Lure combination in PvP, and so this is without a doubt one of the things that just skyrocketed people's speed runs, people's arena runs. allowed you to use a wide variety of combinations. Okay, so again, when we're considering what classifies a unit as a game changer, a unit that the changes that basically allows you to kind of revamp the meta, not just for the PvP setting, but for the PvE. Okay, so again, like I just stated before, this unit is going to improve or accelerate the speed of your YOLO runs, whether we're talking about Giants V10, whether we're talking about Dragons V10, okay, whether we're talking about for you guys that are rushing for TOA. There's people that use this in combination with that. If you're sitting there farming Hall of Heroes once a month, this unit's going to be a part of that team. Okay, if you got it going on. Without a doubt, without a question, it's worth Devilmons. Why? Because if you see on these particular skills here, the main skills, the bread and butter of these skills, have a 75% chance to activate. But if you skill them up, it brings it to a 100% chance. And as you guys know, we have to deal with an activation rate, and then we have to deal with an accuracy resistance check. Check at the end of that. So making sure that you have these skills leveled up is extremely important. Okay, so if you haven't seen this unit again. Defense break for one turn on the first, attack bar manipulation on the second, and then the big whammy, the attack buff and the defense break. Okay, so again, without question, in addition to of course his speed lead for Guild Wars, he's just OP. YOLO teams can't get enough of him. Okay, so if you are fortunate enough to get this unit early on, don't be afraid to put Devilmon into it. You're more than welcome to save it for a future unit, but just know that if you do put Devilmon into it, you will find value at the end of the tunnel. Okay, so Galleon is that first one. Next one up is going to be a nice one. Again, talking about the PvP setting, but again, you can still find value in PvE depending on how you use it. So the next one up here by far is going to be Orion. And for those that have been following my channel, Barian, I was following Barian since the beginning of time, and he was the one that kind of introduced me to the strength of the Orion. He was using it when no one was using it, and now it's part of the meta today. And of course, they had a lot of, the unit has had a lot of changes over its time, so it's obviously gotten better, but without question, this is definitely a game-changing unit when we're talking about the PvP setting in Arena and Guild Wars. So let's go ahead and take a look at its skill set. The first skill has the 30% chance to have the additional turn. You have an ability here to provide an AoE defense break regardless of the enemy's attribute. You're going to land a crushing hit, which allows you to have this skill basically be a little bit more reliable. Okay, and then last but not least, the bread and butter of this particular unit randomly selects an enemy 4 times to grant one of the following beneficial effects. It's going to remove an effect, a stun, decrease defense, and disturb enemy the hit point recovery. So without question, this is just one of the best things, in addition to, improving the attack bar by 30%. So the one thing that to take note on this one that's going to really make it valuable for you is that even though this skill is very, very unique, the cooldown time is 5 turns. Well, because this is basically a support unit and whatnot, and there's no, this is really the only skill you're going to be going for. The cool thing about it is if you're fortunate enough, you only have to invest enough Devilmon to max out this third skill. You really do not have I recommend not maxing out the first or the second skill, just however many Devilmon you need to do it. So some of you might be unlucky like myself and had to max out the whole unit. Some of you might be fortunate enough to get it, 3 or 4 Devilmon invested into it and get it on, the first couple rolls. So if you're fortunate enough to get this one maxed out, get it done. If you ever get any extra Dracos that you already have one, get duplicates, or you get the Aquilas or whatever, put them into it. Okay, without question, this is one of the strongest Guild War micromanaging, attack bar manipulating units out there. When it's on violent set, it goes ham. When it's on a swift set and you control it, it goes ham, because again, you have the ability to maximize on its strength by using the 1 and the 3 skill on here. Okay, so again, this is a great one. Focus on maxing out the third skill. Okay, and that's pretty much it. Okay, so for the water ones, those are my 2 recommendation game changers for you. So if you have those particular units and you're like, I don't know if I should invest Devilmon into it, those are going to be the ones. Okay, now I'm going to name out 3 to 4 more that are going to be controversial. Okay, they're going to be controversial depending on what you use. On these particular recommendations that I said before, because they are used in more than 3 to 4 different aspects of the game, that is why I say they're game changers and to go ahead and invest up. But these ones are going to be a little bit more specific depending on where you're at in your stage of the game, in your progression. Okay, so next one, we will talk about is the Water Lich. The Water Lich got a lot of changes, excuse me, over the course of the time, and definitely now is a staple to the Necropolis world. Okay, so for those that have been following up, we've all been farming dragons and giants, B10, and so on and so forth. Now we're getting into that farming of Necropolis because we understand that when we're going into that end game, whether it's arena or guild wars, the will runes, okay, and the nemesis runes, but more importantly, the will runes are going to be a very crucial part of our composition when we're looking at G2, G3, end game or whatnot. Okay, so. And because of that, you just like any other team, right? You want to make an efficient team. You want to make a team that can clear consistently, but can also do it in a speedy fashion. Because this unit has the ability to not only provide the slow effect, but as well as a defense break on the second skill, it's going to provide you a lot of utility when it comes to Necropolis, because Necropolis, unlike the other stages, right, doesn't have to deal with the crystals, and that means any particular unit that you bring that has any kind of skill with a random effect is going to land all of their attacks on that main target. Okay, so 4 attacks on him. That's 4 different chances to land this defense break versus wasting them on crystals, so on and so forth. So again, you got the slope that hits every 2 to 3 times. You're looking for those multi-hitters for Necropolis. You got, again, a multi-hitting skill that's going to provide a defense break. And then you got yourself a passive that allows you to be immune from stun, sleep, and freeze effects. Okay, and so in addition to that, the decrease of the critical hit by 25% allows you to basically survive a little bit better. Okay, the bread and butter of the reason why I want to say this is a great one to skill up, okay, is because of this particular skill right here. This skill's cooldown time can be reduced to 2 turns. Okay, and when you're looking at Necropolis, you're putting this unit on a violent revenge, so on and so forth. This skill is going to be available a lot. Okay, a lot. And again, this is controversial because again, this is one that when you're at the end stage, you're fine tuning your Necropolis team, or you're looking for a unit that you could use for Necropolis, but more and possibly Rifty. This one kind of falls into both categories again. But again, a lot of people use this for the Necropolis aspects. Whether it's wind or water, this is a great unit to use. So again, controversial. Should I invest Devilmons or whatnot? We're talking about the typical average player. Maybe they're free to play. Maybe they're a little pay to play. They're not sitting there spamming crystals on premium packs or whatnot. So they're not summoning 50,000 liches. Okay, so again, use it for what it's worth. This is a controversial one, but it is a good choice if you're looking for a unit that's going to provide you some amazing DPS and utility when it comes to rifting and Necropolis. Okay, cool. Next one up I got is kind of on that topic of rifting. Again, this is the reason why I made the video, right? I got the opportunity to max this one out and to provide it. So this particular unit, Stella, has been talked about in many videos that I've done. I know that Karanthir's done a couple of videos on this one. An amazing kit to say the least. Okay, it has its own defense break. It has its own branding skill. In addition to that, it has this ability to manipulate the attack bar by 10% for up to 7 strikes, depending on the speed that you have. So without question, this is a unit that can be viable, but because it's so heavily reliant on its skill ups, this is why I consider it controversial. So my recommendation is, if you're going to, if you have cleared all your PvE content and you're doing well in PvP, and now you're putting in the work to rift, and you've gotten that R4 and R5 on clearing consistent, and now you're looking to improve the speed at which you can clear it, then yes, bringing in a branding unit is going to accelerate that. But because this is not a 100% activation rate, this is why I'm kind of controversial about it, because if you want to see value in it, you're only going to see value in it until you max skill it. So if you just got this unit and you're like, oh, let me go ahead and 6-star real quick and get it up in there, it's not going to be as valuable as it is when until you have a max skill. So again, if you want to use this one, you're going to have to invest Devilmons into it, unfortunately, to make it viable. There are units out there that I'm going to showcase in different other elements that does not require or has a higher activation rate. But again, because she provides the branding, the attack bar manipulation, and the defense break, this is worth talking about when it comes to Devilmons units. Okay, next one up, boom. I think this one actually is on the front of the list. Again, another controversial unit, but I'm a big fan of this particular unit, Tyron. Okay, Tyron has been around for quite some time. An amazing kit to say the least. He has the ability to provide the 30% chance consecutively, and then you can improve your critical rate if you land a critical hit. You have the ability to have the glancing effect for two times, hit everybody 2 times with a 40% chance. It can improve to a 50% chance. And then you have the 100% activation rate on the freeze on this particular last skill. Okay, so if you max this one out, you're going to get the 50% versus the 40% on the activation rate. And then you're going to have on this one a reduced cooldown time, as well as this one to be reduced cooldown time. Or sorry, the second skill Cyclone to be reduced cooldown time. So why would someone consider Devilmon? It just kind of depends on where you're at in the game. Okay, there's a lot of compositions out there that you may have seen from top players that have been able to clear, or basically, worked in some kind of speed AO comp that requires some type of speed lead. Okay, when it comes to all the choices out there as far as speed leaders go, natural force our speed leaders that go. Okay, this one's going to be your top notch one with regards to the kit that it brings. And then, of course, depending on the rooms that they use, the utility that it can bring, like with the despair set and whatnot. Okay, so now again, you can Devilmon this, but I want you to strongly consider, if you have the time and the patience, to take a look at the fusion material. Okay, because this one here is a sister to the Beretta, family, the Fire Self. And so if you have the time and the energy, I highly recommend saving your Devilmon for those other crucial units that you're working on, and take the time to level up the units and the awaken and whatnot, so you can get those free Devilmon essentially by fusing it up. It takes a lot of time. So again, if you're like me and not too impatient, not too patient, then yeah, then you can go ahead and Devilmon. But again, this falls into my controversial category. So I feel like if you want to put forth into it, take the time just to level up the units. But if you're in a rush to max it out because you have this, sick AO that you want to use it for, or maybe you have a CC based TOAH team that you rotate, 2 to 3 CC units in order to kind of shuffle those AoE effects and allow you to basically clear the levels that you need to clear, you need to reduce the cooldown timers, then you can make an argument of that. But again, I feel like this is a controversial one. Take the free route. Free is better. It just takes time. We have all the time in the world, right? It's all about that grind. It's all about the grind, okay? Next one up, we got ourselves Chilling. This one's, again, kind of unique. One of the newer units here, having the ability to attack 3 times with a 30% chance and provide attack speed. And then, of course, the attack speed and critical rate buff from all allies for 2 turns. So this is really unique. And then it has the ability to provide the beneficial effect, steals beneficial effect when it hits an enemy target. So when we're talking about its only skill hitting the enemy target 3 times, that's 3 chances of being able to remove that beneficial effect. So you guys know right away that this is a great unit for a Dragons B10. In addition to that, when you're looking for a unit that's going to provide the buffs that you want, in addition to the multi-hits that you want, you can find a reason to put this in your Necropolis team. Okay, so you got dragons, you got Necropolis. Now, of course, the cons to this particular unit, the casting speed is a little bit slower, so you're going to definitely notice that. But again, depending on the composition that you're bringing, I personally use 2 to 3 units in my Dragons composition that, I'm bringing Theo, I'm bringing Hua. So, I mean, I'm using people that are going to get a lot of value out of the speed buff as well as the crit rate buff. In addition to that, you guys understand the value of Swift and critical rate when it comes to Necropolis and killing the boss as quick as you can so you can get those speedy clears. It's without a doubt a great unit. Now, the reason why I say this is part of the group that I would think about Devilmoning is because you don't have to invest a lot of Devilmon into it. This particular skill up only has one. You only need one Devilmon to max this one out. This one has 5, okay? And it's the 3rd Devilmon and the 5th Devilmon that you invest in this one that's going to improve the percentage by 10% each time. So what it means is, if you're just looking to get this unit and improve the speed at which you can cast this skill, you're going to obviously have it on the violence set, but you want to use it to improve the casting skill, then you might get lucky and put one Devilmon into it and boom, you're good to go. Now, if you're looking to have a little bit more reliable, beneficial effect remover, your Dragon's YOLO comp, slowly depends on this particular unit removing the beneficial effects. You're not bringing a Bella, you're not bringing a Mega. This is the guy that's removing it. Then yeah, you might find reason in removing it. And again, it's controversial. Man, I'm gonna say controversial. Somebody count how many times I say controversial. Okay. Again, we are investing in the units that are going to at this time, to provide value in what you want in the future. Okay, why should I invest Devilmon in this particular unit? Right? It's just it's reliable. Let me just put accuracy, this and that, whatever. It's going to cover it. It's like, no, that's not necessarily how it works. Think of it as this, even though it may not seem all the much to put into our paper, if we're talking about Dragons V10, which is without a doubt one of the top places to farm not just the best runes in the game when it comes to Violent Revenge, but some of the best type of money that you can make in the game with respect to Necropolis as well. We're talking about 8 energy, with the chance of getting the right rune you need, or just a little bit of money on the side to continue that grind day in and day out. So there is a lot of value in a unit that is going to provide you that consistent amount of money so that you can improve your runes, even if you don't get the best runes you want. That is why I find value in this particular unit. That's why I want to go ahead and mention it to you today. So again, guys, that is pretty much it for my list of recommendations. Again, my 2 game changers to recommend are going to be Galleon and Orion if you get it. Invest in just the 3rd skill on Orion. The Galleon is a great unit to go ahead and max out. The other 4 units, Stella, Chilling, Tyron, and Regal, are going to be controversial, are going to be dependent upon your intentions. They're going to be dependent on your progression and where you're at in the game. Okay, these are not going to be units that you're going to be slapping on Devilmon if you're level 5, right? Putting it into it, you got to have to really analyze where you're at in the game and ask yourself, is this worth investing in to improve or accelerate exactly what I'm trying to do today? Okay, so that is it for part 1 of the Game Changers and Devilmons episode. Thank you guys all for tuning in. Make sure to check out in the next day or 2. We will have the Win one as well as the Fire one on board. Thank you all for tuning in. It's your boy Childish with ChildishPlays. Check it out. Take care. We will see you in the next video. I'm out.